All right, y'all. Gather around the fire and grab your marshmallows and roasting sticks. It's story time. Have any of you ever heard of a blood moon? That's right. It's the rich crimson moon that you see in the sky on occasion. They say bad things can happen to those caught outside overnight on a blood moon. Today's story is about 5 friends who planned a camping trip around a blood moon. Let's see how that worked out for them. The air was heavy with the heat of a midsummer day as the 5 friends hiked up the narrow trail toward their campsite. The forest around them seemed alive with the sounds of rustling leaves, distant animal calls, and the steady crunch of their boots on the dirt path. They reached a clearing with a grassy patch, surrounded by towering pines. Above, the sky was darkening, and a strange red glow loomed on the horizon. Jack, the group's leader, declared as he threw down his backpack. "Perfect spot," he said. His confidence was contagious, and the others quickly set up camp. Tents were pitched, a fire pit was dug, and soon the 5 friends, Jack, Sarah, Mark, Lisa, and Tom, sat around the crackling fire, laughing and enjoying the night air. When the moon finally rose, they all fell silent. The blood moon hung ominously in the sky, its deep crimson hue casting an eerie glow over the campsite. Lisa pointed at the sky. "That's wild, look at it, it's beautiful." But also kind of creepy. Sarah added, "There's a lot of folklore about blood moons, you know? Bad omens, curses, that kind of thing." Tom shrugged. "Come on, it's just a natural phenomenon, nothing more." Jack, who loved a good campfire story, leaned forward. "Still, you gotta admit it's a weird time to be out in the woods. You ever heard the one about the cursed blood moon?" Mark, the group's most athletic member, rolled his eyes. "Please. The scariest thing out here is a raccoon trying to steal our food." They all laughed, until Mark stood to grab another log for the fire. He took one step back, stumbled over a small rock, and fell to the ground with a loud thud. "Ah, crap!" he yelled, clutching his ankle. Sarah rushed to his side. "You okay?" Mark winced. "No, I think I sprained it." Tom chuckled. "The athlete takes a dive. Classic." Lisa frowned. "We're supposed to be out here having fun, not breaking bones?" Mark hobbled back to his seat, grumbling. "It's just a fluke." But the night was far from over. As the fire crackled and the group continued chatting, Tom stood to tend to the flames. He poked at the logs, coaxing the fire to burn brighter, when suddenly a strong gust of wind blew through the clearing. Debris and ash scattered everywhere. Tom cried out, stumbling backward and clutching his face. Jack jumped up. "Tom, what happened?" Tom, in obvious distress, shouted, "My eyes!" Something flew in my eyes. In his panic, Tom tripped and fell forward, his hands landing on the edge of the fire pit. He screamed in pain as the heat seared his palms. Lisa and Sarah rushed to help him, pulling him away from the fire and pouring water on his hands. Lisa, clearly alarmed, said, "This isn't normal." First Mark, now Tom. "What the hell is going on?" Mark, trying to stay calm, said, "It's just bad luck." Sarah, glancing nervously at the blood moon hanging above them, asked, "Is it?" As the night wore on, things only got worse. Jack suddenly doubled over in pain, clutching his stomach. Sarah asked, "Jack, what's wrong?" Jack groaned. "I don't know. Feels like my gut isn't happy from lunch earlier." Lisa chimed in, "But we all ate the same lunch. Why are you the only one feeling sick?" Jack shook his head, sweat beading on his forehead. "I don't know. It's like something's rumbling inside me." Lisa grabbed the first aid kit and handed him some antacids, but Jack remained pale and trembling. As Jack writhed in pain, Sarah suddenly pressed her hands to her temples and groaned. Lisa asked, "Sarah?" Sarah moaned, "My head, it's splitting. I can't even think straight." She stumbled toward her tent, crawling inside and curling up in a fetal position. "I just need to lay down for a bit. Maybe it'll go away." Jack called out, "Sarah?" But she didn't respond. Lisa and Mark exchanged worried glances. Lisa said, "This isn't right. Something is seriously wrong." As the hours dragged on, Lisa sat near the fire, caring for Tom, whose burned hands were wrapped in bandages. She swatted at her arm, then her leg, then her neck. Lisa cursed, "Damn bugs, they've been at me since the sun went down." Mark looked puzzled. "Bugs? I haven't seen a single mosquito or anything." Lisa slapped her arm again, harder this time. "Well, they're biting the hell out of me," she said. Tom shined a flashlight on her and his eyes widened in horror. "Lisa, you're covered." Lisa looked down at herself, panic setting in. "What the hell? I put on repellent." Mark stated, "None of us are getting bitten, it's only you." Lisa scratched at her arms furiously. "They're targeting me. Why are they targeting me?" Nobody from the group could offer up an answer. The night dragged on in agony. Mark's ankle throbbed, Tom's hands burned. Jack laid on the ground, groaning in pain, while Sarah was still curled up in her tent, moaning softly. Lisa sat by the fire, keeping watch while battling with the swarming insects, her eyes darting between the campers and the cursed moon hanging in the sky. When dawn finally broke, the blood moon faded into the horizon, replaced by the soft glow of the rising sun. Lisa sighed in relief. "Thank God the bugs are letting up. It's over." The group moved slowly, each of them nursing their wounds. It took hours for the hobbled group to break down the campsite. Mark limped on his swollen ankle. Tom was careful with his burned hands, and Jack leaned heavily on Lisa for support. Sarah emerged from her tent, her eyes bloodshot and puffy. Jack urged, "Let's get out of here." They trudged down the trail in silence, their cheerful spirits from the previous day completely gone. The woods, once inviting, now felt suffocating, as if unseen eyes were watching them leave. At the edge of the forest, they piled into Jack's car and drove toward the nearest town, desperate to find a hospital. None of them spoke, the only sound the hum of the tires on the pavement. As they passed a sign marking the town limits, Lisa glanced back at the woods. The trees swayed gently in the breeze, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was still watching. And in the distance, just above the tree line, the faint outline of the blood moon lingered, even in the daylight. Was it finally over? Now, someone reach into the cooler and grab me another drink.